Good morning. Over the next few videos, I'm going to talk about children and the impact all of this is having on your children. But what I'm going to try and do is split it up into different age groups because obviously, although there are commonalities in how they might be feeling, there are a lot of differences depending on the stage of development that they're at. So today I'm going to talk about older teenage kids, maybe sort of 16 to 19, that sort of age group, who should be moving away from you around about now, because this is the time of their life when we expect them to leave home, to go to university, to get a job, to start moving away from being a child or an adolescent in your home and start becoming young adults. And obviously, with what's going on, that's becoming a lot more difficult for them, pretty much impossible, really. So there's going to be a lot of tension there. They're going to be feeling very confused, very resentful, very trapped, I guess, by the situation. More so than perhaps us older people, who at least we've been through things, we've had a bit of a life, we're not missing those things quite so much. It's probably going to be harder for those young people to cope with the isolation. So, what kind of things can you do, bearing in mind you're all going to be stuck together for the foreseeable future? I think one thing that might be quite useful is to almost formalize their role as an adult member of the household. Now, up until now, they've been parents and children, and however democratic you are, there is still a difference in how you organize things. You're the adults, you're in charge. Maybe now it's time to start changing things such that you're now operating on equal footing and they're an adult in the household, almost like if you were doing a house share or something, so that you're looking at things on a more equal basis. Now, what you're trying to do there is give them a bit of power, let them feel like they're partly in control of what's going on. Because one of the hardest things for all of us to deal with all this corona stuff is the lack of control. The fact that we can't control very much of it at all makes it really hard to cope with. So the more they feel they are in control of something, the easier it is for them to feel empowered, to feel like they haven't had their whole fledgling adulthood taken away from them. You've got to be careful not to be too patronizing about this. So, you don't want to say, hello, Johnny, you're now in charge of washing up. I'm going to give you control over that task. That really isn't going to work. But maybe start to have kind of discussions about decisions to be made for the household, how you're all going to share out all the tasks and stuff that need doing, and try and give them a bit of autonomy, I think is the answer here. If you can, it might be worth thinking about physical distancing as much as you can if you have space. So, if you're able to, maybe now it's that you try and make their part of the house a bit separate. Obviously, it's not a good time to be getting builders and such like in, but maybe you could be planning this because going forward, we may well be having a situation like this on and off for quite some time yet. So the more they can be kind of semi-independent within the household, that might be quite a good way of trying to ease some of those tensions. Don't be surprised, however, if they also regress, because for children of any age and young people of any age, this is a really scary time, and they may well want to go back to when things were simpler, they were younger, they didn't have these worries. So don't be surprised with kids of any age if you find regressions in their behaviour and they go through phases of acting younger than their actual age. That's quite normal. It's, a perfectly normal reaction to the amount of stress that they're under. All of these conversations need to be had when you're all feeling calm. So, in the middle of an argument blowing up because of all the tensions between you and the other young people, that's not the time to be having that conversation. Wait till everybody's calmed down, sit down, discuss it like adults, let them feel that they're an equal partner in the decision. Encourage as much online socializing as they can manage. All this time, we've all been worried about our kids being glued to screens. Now that it's the only way they can socialize with their friends, it's become a bit of a godsend. So encourage that, give them space, give them privacy. Try as much as you can to treat them like you would perhaps a sibling who is coming to stay for an extended period and who therefore is another adult in your house. It's not easy for any of us. It's not easy for them. This was meant to be a really exciting part of their lives, and it's all going very wrong at the moment for them. Particularly if your child is in year 12, this is a really scary time for them. They've spent their whole school career waiting for this year to show what they can do, to plan for their future, to plan their further study, their job, their career, etc. And now it's all become a bit uncertain. And although we're hearing that the Year 12 exams will go ahead this year, we're still not really sure of the format and timing that will go ahead. And that uncertainty is obviously very, very disturbing for them. So basically, give them a break. If you have to walk away before you react to something, that's a very good thing to do. Everyone's very tense, and we are going to see these tensions blow up every so often. So take care of yourselves, give each other a big hug if they're not too old to have a hug, and hang on tight. Stay safe, stay home. We'll get through this together.